Hello, good evening everyone. It's Anna from Astral Lady Tarot, and I saw this tag in a live chat by Simon from the Hermit's Cave, and I thought I can make a VR. So this tag was created originally by LadyKnight of Avalon. The first question is, what was the last deck you bought and why that one? Last deck I bought was the Alchemical Tarot, which I have right here. 4th edition. I bought it for my birthday, which was earlier this month. I had this one not necessarily on my wish list, more like on my radar. I knew that it was gonna be for me. The artwork is really cool, really nice. It's much cleaner lines than I usually go for. That's just because it's, I believe, computer art. It looks like it has gone through computer, but that doesn't mean it's not beautiful. This art I dig, and it looks badass, so that's really cool. That was the aesthetic reason of me being attracted to this deck, but also, of course, the whole alchemy thing. This whole deck talks about the alchemical process, and I just got this deck, so I haven't really read with it. I have been studying the alchemical process and what each and every symbol here means. I don't have the book. I figured this is a great opportunity to just find everything out on my own. I have this symbol right here that's on the sun, and I think this is the same symbol that's on the lovers, which means amalgamation, which is about combining, uniting. Yeah, pretty sure. Then I figured out that this C in the square right here is circulation. So it's very interesting. Here we have that could mean two different things. I don't remember now. I have this whole list of what I made, what it means. Oh yeah, I think this is salt. It's just another, there are two different symbols for salt. I think, I don't know. And then here we have earth and mercury and sulfur. So there's a lot to go through in this deck, a lot to learn. And just the artwork on itself is beautiful. What I'm actually doing to get to know this deck is I'm studying alchemy, basically like an introduction to alchemy. And then I am finding the right points that Robert M. Place put in his deck. And that is how I find the story in the cards. It's really quite special. Just look at this. This is one of the cards why I thought, this is for me, yes. Yeah, I don't know, and they have such a beautiful color palette. Very cool. So, this is one of the glossy decks that I own, which I'm not really a fan of. But I tend to forgive thin cardstock and glossy stock for something amazing. So there you go. I love this deck because it makes me study, makes me think, makes me approach the tarot in a new way, makes me delve into a whole other direction, I would say. I am actually rereading a book that I had when I was way younger. I bought a book about alchemy, and it's really, as I said, mostly an introduction to alchemy because it's impossible to really get into detail with that little amount of information, but it helps and it's cool. And the other thing that I do is look things up online, just draw my own conclusions and make sure that they're right. All right. Second question, what's your decision process when you buy a new deck? Well, first thing is artwork. Let's just be honest, you know, tarot is a visual tool. Tarot is first and foremost about the symbolism, meaning that you associate with it. So it's not really strange to say, well, when a deck looks great, it will draw my attention and I will look into it. That doesn't necessarily mean that I will buy it though. I have a few decks that I think are gorgeous, but I don't see myself working with them. That doesn't mean that I won't change my mind in the future, but at the moment, I don't know, I really want to use my decks. Even though my collection is slowly growing, yeah, that's really important to me, that there is a reason for me to buy the deck. I really don't want it to just go unused on my shelf. Does it match my personality? That's another thing. Does it reflect my personality? I think that's almost a given, but then again, maybe not. When I think about reading for others, for clients, I think it's kind of important to have a deck that suits me. But then again, not being too harsh for the unknown person in front of me. Now, I'm very comfortable with reading with the Rider-Waite-Smith, which is why I tend to use that deck for clients. I also like the way it looks. I also think it reflects a part of me. I would love to also read with the Triomphe de la Luna, although that's already a little bit edgier, even if it wasn't a Marseille deck, which means I still think that it's nice for the person asking the question looking at the picture. That person can look at the picture and follow my story, follow my train of thought. With Marseille, it's much more abstract. I'm just saying that Triomphe and, for instance, the Polka Tarot, I love that deck. It's in my top 5. But I'm just not sure if everyone would just vibe with that. Even around the time of Halloween, I don't know if people would accept that type of darkness. I just want to respect them and make sure that I use a deck where I can explain why the 9 and 10 of Swords creep people out. There's a reason for that. There isn't necessarily a justification to why the Queen of Cups in the polka is holding a cup with intestines and blood inside of the cup. I love that stuff, but I could, of course, just think of something, and yes, it has symbolism, but I don't want the reading to be about why the card looks like that. I want the reading to be about what the person needs to hear. What are deal breakers in a deck that keep you from buying it? So far, when it isn't timeless. I'm not drawn to decks that are too modern, that show laptops in cards, and that show phones in cards, that show people looking at their screen in cards. I can see that it's the way the world is now, but it just pisses me off a little bit. Even though, it can be criticism towards that behavior, but I see tarot as something old knowledge. And I translate it to me, my time, and my time isn't over yet. My time is going to continue long after my death. I just want the tarot to be significant, because it's so significant, the work that you do with it. I don't want any of that unimportant stuff. I don't want any of that unnatural stuff. And I don't mean supernatural. Please give me more of that. But all that technology and stuff, that's just a little thing that I'm not fond of. It may change, but so far, Little white book or big guidebook is question number 4. I like the big guidebooks. I read them once or twice, all the way through. I highlight things. I write things down. Not sure if I actually use them again after that. But I just very much enjoy having them. They're good books. They're the kind of books that I like to read. So, Little White Books, I read the introduction because there's actually something about the maker of the deck and about the deck, but then I don't look at the meanings because they're all pretty much the same. Now, there are some big little white books, and those tend to be amazing for some reason. So, there's also a middle ground there. Question 5. Do you have new deck rituals? How do you break in a new deck? I don't really. I shuffle my cards. So I guess I don't really have a new deck ritual. Have you ever been disappointed after getting a deck because it looked or felt different than expected? Absolutely. Oh man, it took me so long to find that vintage 60s Albano weight. Unworkable. It was just, no. Every fiber in my body was saying, is this it? That's horrible. Thin, thin paper. Front of the cards were so glossy that I hated it, and it was just like holding glossy paper, and I thought it was going to be the other way around. I had my expectations up. I tried to unbend them, and that did not work, and I really tried. I just got rid of it because, oh, that was such a disappointment. Is there ever going to be an Albano weight that I like? I really would love to work with that deck with all of those colors and they all esoterically accurate. That interests me. I want to know that. But, so many rambles. So many first world problems, right? Bonus question, have you ever been pleasantly surprised by a deck after getting it? Oh yeah, the Halloween Tarot. Cardstock is really good. It reads like a charm, but it has that really cool Halloween vibe that I totally did not grow up with, because when I was younger, nobody in Holland, as far as I knew, in my surroundings, celebrated Halloween. That was an American thing. But now it's coming more and more. And now that I know all about pagan holidays, it's a really big thing, and I love it, and it's amazing. But that's just that little nostalgia of something that I never really had. And it reads so nicely. So yeah, I really like that one. Do you interview new decks? Not really. What I like to do is shuffle my deck, think of the question, what can I learn from you? And I pull one card. Anything more than that just goes way too much for me into talking to the deck as if it's alive, talking to the deck as if it's another person. And I realized that asking what can I learn from you does the exact same thing, but it's just one question and it's one card, and it's like, well, that's what it is. And it's always good, and it's sometimes exciting, and with that whole spread thing, interview spread, is a little bit too fussy for me, I would say. So just one card. Do you ever buy decks for a specific purpose, only using it for that one? Yes. I have the idea in my head, but then when I like a deck, when I vibe with a deck, it's gonna be all purpose. Number 9, do you differentiate between decks you buy for yourself and decks you would use for other people? I have bought one deck so far that I bought specifically for reading for clients, and even though that I loved it at the time, I have found something that feels better. And when you're not a fan of Pixie's artwork of the Rider-Waite-Smith, you're going to think, why are you being so difficult? Because it's the exact same deck. But it's not the exact same deck. I'm talking about my soul deck, the Centennial. I have a backup copy, which I now use for my clients. So it's no longer a real personal use backup copy. It's what I prefer to read with for clients. They can touch the cards. That's all fine with that deck because it's the energy that I know and love, but it's not my personal deck that I have been shuffling for years. So that's what I use now. The only deck that I ever bought specifically for clients was the titleless, borderless, numberless Pam's Original Art Only Tarot. There you go, that's the entire title. By Rial, the My Lucky card. It really has to feel right. And you can only truly know that after working with it for a while. Last question, number 10. What is one thing you wish deck creators would do more of, or stop doing? Oh, I am a big fan of artwork that is hand-drawn. So even though deck creators, that takes longer to make, probably, I will love it more. Would stop doing? Don't put copyright on every card. You don't even realize what a difference that makes. That was genuine, genuine frustration. What is one thing you wish deck creators would do more of? What else? I do enjoy the stereotype of the witchy woman, right? The woman who reads tarot, the woman who wears black, the woman who likes cats. Well, guess what? I am a woman who reads tarot. I am a woman who likes black. I am pretty witchy here and there, and I like dogs. Yeah, that doesn't mean I don't like cats, but oh my god, do I need a tarot deck that looks amazing and has dogs in the artwork, and that it's artwork that I genuinely like, because I see some dog decks popping up here and there, which is great, but we need more, so there's more diversity so that we can all find our own dog deck. And why not make it canine, you know, just dogs and wolves? I would love that. So it's time for me to go now. Okay, bye.